Hello everyone, Zellerant here, and for today's video on Umamusume, hopefully I'm now saying it right. I know I had a pretty bad blunder yesterday. Being sick really doesn't help, but I'm starting to recover now, so I've gotten quite a bit better. But for today's video, I thought we'd go ahead and talk about a little bit about the Gemini Cup and whether or not it's going to be good for free-to-play. Because one of the big things you probably heard from me, I've probably said I think in a couple of my videos about it, as well as from other creators, is that this is kind of the whale cup. And it's in a similar vein, but to even more of an extent, as the Taurus Cup kind of was. The biggest reason being it's a long race. Taurus Cup was a medium, and so the big things with the longer distances is stamina is very important in them. And so not only do you have to worry about stamina, you always have to worry about speed, because max speed is super important, because if you have max speed, that's the highest chance to basically be able to win, because you're going to be able to go the fastest. And then as much power as possible. But you also have to worry about the stamina because of the length. So that was one problem we already knew with Taurus. You needed a lot of stamina, plus your gold recoveries to make it through with all the nice natures and that'll be debuffing you as well. Now, Gemini is even worse in the same fact that it's now long, going from 2,400 meters to 3,200. And so it's even more extreme. Even without debuffers, max stamina is not enough to survive, as I already mentioned. And so you absolutely have to have the gold recovery, and you have to have more than them just in case it doesn't activate, or you will run out of stamina with no debuffers. And so that is where the question comes, that it's the Gemini Cup is the whale wars, because you still want max speed. Now you want max stamina. It's not just trying to get like 850, 900, or even 1k stamina. It's you have to have max stamina. And then you still want high power, because you have to power through some of the uphills and that to continue to maintain that high speed. Now, one of the things is you're going to be a lower wit on this one, because even the whales are not going to be able to get high wit, high speed, high stamina, high power. It's just not possible. And then guts will just naturally be high because you're hitting stamina a lot, which is also going to buff up guts. And so that's why it's considered whale, because you're going to want MLB of all the SSRs, the best ones, your Super Creek, your Kitasan Black, your Seiyun Sky, all those cards so that you can actually hit these stat thresholds. And I will say that after now Taurus Cup, we've already gone the first day of round 2, grade A. I will say that I 100% think Gemini Cup is going to be completely fine for free-to-play, in the extent I think free-to-play have a good shot of making it to at least the grade A finals. We have not experienced the grade A finals in the Taurus Cup yet, but I've seen the people, and some of the people that have shown it on Discord, me myself who has made it to the grade A finals, seeing the Umas that I've played in the Taurus Cup grade A round 2, I have confidence that it's going to be not too hard to make it to the grade A finals in the Gemini Cup if you put in the time in this game. And this is the big thing. The parents in your your legacies. I probably should just use the proper terms for the game. I keep saying parents and grandparents, but your legacies and your sub legacies. If you put in the time and effort to grind those, which you don't need the best of the best cards making parents and legacies and sub legacies. If you've ever watched me on my stream while I'm doing them, like right now, I'm using a rare McQueen card because it has right-handed and Kyoto Racecourse, which is good for Gemini Cup. I'm using a lot of these cards, and you don't need MLB when you're doing the parent run or the legacy runs, because you're just trying to get 600 speed, stamina, power. You need to win as many G1 races as you can, and then get as many of those skills that matter for your upcoming champions meeting onto your Uma, so you then could potentially get the white sparks, hopefully get a good blue and good pink spark. Whales have to do that too. As you see, I'm considered kind of a whale at this point because I MLB'd a lot of cards. One of the things that has sucked for me the Taurus Cup is because I waited for the Super Creek card, I didn't have time to really do a lot of parent runs because Super Creek came right before, like a week before. So I built a quick parent for my Zero Ryan for my gold chip, and I spammed that for a while. And it took me about 30-ish runs to finally get one I settled on that I'm currently running, and it's still not very good. And that's because bad parents and grandparents, regardless of my good SSR cards. And that's why I think Gemini Cup's going to be completely fine if you play a lot. you can make up for it with playing and having good legacies, and then just using whatever support cards you have. Because the biggest thing I think in Gemini Cup, all you're going to need, I believe, to make it to Grade A Finals, hit that 1200 stamina. 1200 stamina is like must-have. Get at least 2 gold recoveries. 3 would be best. It's going to be very hard to get that. Get at least 2, like Swinging Maestro and Cooldown. Everybody can get Cooldown, because Cooldown is on that free Welfare Major McQueen card that you can get from the story. So you get those 2, you're good to go on those. And so from there, you hit that 1200 stamina, then all you need is as much speed and power as you can. And I think with even just generic cards, you should be able to get around that 800 range. If you hit that 800 speed range, your power and that, it's going to be low. You're not going to be beating nobody that's got whales that are getting really high numbers. But with what I've seen in the Taurus Cup, and you've probably seen this too right now, if you've put time and effort into grinding out your parents and grandparents and have built decent gold ship or whatever for the Taurus Cup, you've probably easily made it into round 2. And in round 2 now, I still seen a lot of, they didn't have medium S. They didn't even have max speed. They had like 900 speed. There's a lot of Umas still in round 2 with like 900, 800 speed on the medium race. And then they have only like, they might have 1,000, 1,100 stamina, but they have like no speed. They have very low power, and they're there. They've made it to round 2. And the funny thing is, I've been beaten by those gold chips a couple times. I've had Ogre caps that have beaten me on them. One of the things they currently have is the random mood, which definitely shakes things up, because if they put my gold ship, in a bad mood and yours in a great mood, that's a massive swing in stats just by itself right there that can carry you in a race, and that can get you to the finals. And so I actually think as long as you hit that 1200 stamina and then pump speed up as high as you possibly can with the cards you have, and you have the 2 gold recoveries, and whatever else you can kind of fit in there, which are going to be mostly the greens, as I continue to make guides on what you're targeting for this build, which so you're going to want to try and get like Kyoto Racecourse, Standard Distance, Right-Handed, Spring Runner, and those. I think you're going to do fine, and that is not something that you need to beat a whale to get. You do have to put in the time and be doing your legacy runs to get your legacies and sub-legacies, but I think anyone can do it, and whales need to put in that time too. As I've kind of learned, my gold ship, I made it in the Grade A Finals, but I wasn't dominating like like you would think a whale would. I wasn't winning every single one of them. So it is what it is on that. And so while this will be one of the harder ones, because having a properly built one on this is going to probably be more consistent on winning, just because if you don't have the stamina, your Uma dies and you lose. There is no recovering from running out of stamina, like recovering when maybe you're a little bit slower, but you're just in the right place at the right time and can push up quicker. This one, if your stamina's out, they die, and then they're going to lose, unless it's like they die at the very end. So I think it's definitely possible. Very free-to-play, friendly on it. Yes, the finals is still going to be insanely hard, and we haven't had it in the Taurus Cup yet, but I know plenty of people that have average, not like super whale built gold chips that have made it into the finals. So you can still get paired up with just average and not whale Umas. So it's very possible to win this, even as free to play is my thing. And I just kind of wanted to do a video on that, because I've seen a lot of people talking about they should just outright skip Gemini, start working on the Cancer Cup, which for some that might make sense. I will say the Cancer Cup, one of the things that's going to be different about Mile, and especially when we eventually have a sprint, is those ones are going to be very RNG dependent, because they're going to be as high as speed, power. You just need just enough stamina, and it's going to be all about the skills, and really high, and having as high of wit as you can to trigger those skills. And so these are going to definitely be harder to win, in the extent that no matter how good you build your Uma, I mean, there's a lot of more RNG built into it, because you can't take advantage of the fact that others have too low of stamina, because almost everyone is going to easily hit the stamina threshold. This one, you can at least take advantage of the fact there's going to be plenty of people that aren't going to have the stamina threshold. And if you meet that, you have a good shot of at least making it to the finals, which means you get the place and you get a lot of carrots out of it. So don't feel like you need to skip this one because it's a long one, and a lot of the stat thresholds content creators like myself are talking about are really high. That's just the stat thresholds if you want a very good chance of winning the whole thing. It's not what's required to just be able to place in it. It's kind of what I'm getting with here. And so I thought I'd just make a quick video on it to kind of help people understand that don't worry too much about the numbers they're throwing out there. You can do this as long as you hit that stamina threshold. I think you'll be fine in the Gemini Cup. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just let me know what your thoughts are on the Gemini Cup and what your plans are with it coming up. And if you like my content, if you can like, comment, subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.